it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather shared his thoughts on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, saying that Davis is making his own choices and taking a big risk with his career. Floyd explained that he has given Davis advice before, but if it's ignored, it's no longer his problem. He added that the fight is good for boxing overall. It will make a lot of money, and he plans to watch it himself.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
The boxing community has been buzzing with debate over the upcoming Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight. Fans and experts are split into two sides. Some say it's just a publicity stunt, while others believe it's a smart move for Tank to reach new audiences. Amid all the noise, several insiders have shared their opinions. Some have defended Tank's decision, while others say it shows how far boxing has drifted from its roots.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups, you know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it, but it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett expressed frustration with the backlash Gervonta Davis is facing. He argued that people today criticize fighters for everything without understanding what they're going through. Hackett said if Davis wants to fight Jake Paul, that should be his choice. He added that no one outside the ring truly knows what drives a fighter's decisions. For Hackett, fans need to stop deciding who boxers should face and instead respect the hard work it takes to compete at the top. His comments reflect how many trainers feel social media has turned boxing criticism into constant noise.
Like, he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get shit from you.
A lot of debate has also surrounded sports analyst Max Kellerman, who has been heavily criticized for his comments about Gervonta Davis. Many boxing voices say Kellerman is biased and unfairly dismisses Davis's success. In several recent shows, he claimed that Tank was never a true champion in his division and hadn't achieved much. This angered many analysts who argued that Kellerman ignored Davis's record and knockout power. Critics say Kellerman's attitude shows how some media figures undervalue rising stars while promoting hype stories. The argument highlights how favoritism and bias still shape how fighters are judged publicly.
Because Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalist that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you, is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135. And there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi has again shared a strong opinion, this time about the Davis versus Jake Paul fight. He criticized the matchup, saying boxing is losing its real meaning. According to him, knockouts only matter when they happen between evenly matched fighters. He said staged fights mislead casual fans into thinking they're watching something genuine. Talking with analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi said, while casual viewers may find it fun, true boxing fans see it as fake. He believes putting social media fighters beside real athletes confuses people about what boxing really is. His comments underline the growing tension between entertainment and tradition in the sport.
Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture knockouts.
You can't manufacture.
To a
Gervonta
degree,
Davis.
you can. To a degree. I mean,
Destroying
you can't. Yeah,
Frank Martin.
Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists, though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
champions.
If he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No,
and
because
Teddy
he
Atlas
fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this
with the expense of
Witherspoon. That were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when you going to fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
Unlike critics such as Malignaggi, boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult offered a more positive view after watching the Davis versus Jake Paul press conference. He said he feels more confident about Tank's chances now. At first, he thought Jake's size and strength were too much, but after seeing Davis's calm and focus, he changed his mind. Showbiz said Davis looked sharp, confident, and fully aware of the challenge. His composure made Showbiz believe Tank could handle the size difference. He added that this fight might surprise people who think Jake's power will be too much. In his opinion, Davis's skill, focus, and ring IQ could make the difference.
I'll beat the hell out of this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. Yo, I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My son, my oldest son, was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response to your take.
Floyd Mayweather's name has surfaced again, not as a promoter, but possibly as a fighter. Reports say Floyd is now pursuing a fight with Mike Tyson. And analysts believe it's not just for money. They think he wants to prove he can still dominate headlines even in retirement. With all the attention on Davis versus Paul, Mayweather seems unwilling to let anyone outshine him, not even his own protege. Observers say this is typical Floyd, always hungry for attention, competition, and legacy. While Davis and Jake prepare for their big moment, Floyd's rumored fight reminds everyone how legends keep fighting for relevance in a fast-changing boxing world.
Celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers also joined the conversation, warning fans not to underestimate Gervonta Davis. He said size doesn't always decide who wins, and history shows smaller fighters often beat bigger ones. According to Chambers, Jake Paul's size advantage means little against Davis's skill, speed, and intelligence. He admitted Jake has improved, but said he still lacks the experience to deal with someone like Davis. Chambers said underestimating Tank would be a mistake, not just because of his power, but because of his strategy and discipline. His comments added balance to the debate, urging people to value skill over hype. Insiders say Davis's training camp shows he's serious and focused. His body language at press events appears calm and determined. For Tank, this fight is about pride and opportunity, not just money. A win against Jake Paul could boost his popularity and open doors beyond boxing fans. Critics may call it a circus, but Davis seems determined to prove he can succeed on both the business and athletic sides of the sport.
Press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former champion Timothy Bradley also gave his view, showing strong confidence in Gervonta Davis. He called the fight easy money for Tank, saying Davis's experience and skills make Jake's challenge look small. Bradley pointed out that Tank has beaten top-level opponents, while Jake has fought only a few professionals. He said Jake's effort deserves respect, but the gap in ability is too big to ignore. Bradley believes Davis's speed, defense, and timing will quickly expose Jake's weaknesses. The only real danger, he said, is if Tank underestimates him. As long as he stays sharp, Bradley expects a clear win. Beyond all the predictions, this fight marks a shift in boxing, where entertainment and competition are now blending together, more than ever before.
Contract, yeah. You prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. Fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah. False sense of security. Now he try to pick on small folks, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size.
For traditional fans, this trend feels wrong. For promoters, it's brilliant. But no matter where people stand, this event has already done something rare in boxing. It has the world's full attention. Fighters like Davis are adapting to this new era, learning how to mix showmanship with respect for the sport. Whether fans love it or hate it, this fight proves boxing isn't dying. It's changing, and fast.
The heart, right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. Look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the fight.